Have you ever noticed something strange? A forest can grow massive, ancient trees without anyone adding fertilizer, yet a simple backyard garden often struggles just to keep lettuce alive. So what's really going on? It's one of the biggest misunderstandings in gardening. Most people assume plants fail because they are not being fed enough, too little fertilizer, too little water, or not enough care. But in reality, plants are rarely the real problem. They are simply reacting to something deeper, something invisible. What you see above the ground is only a reflection of what is happening beneath it. And when the underground system begins to fail, plants start sending signals most people misread as random issues. If you've ever struggled with weak plants, poor harvests, or confusing garden problems, this will change how you see your soil forever. Imagine walking outside after a heavy rainfall. Instead of sinking into the earth, water is just sitting on top of your garden bed hours later. This is the first warning sign of a suffocating system. Healthy soil should behave like a sponge, not a concrete slab. It should hold water, but also allow air to move through it freely. When soil is stepped on too often, tilled repeatedly, or compressed by heavy equipment, those vital air spaces collapse. The ground becomes tight and suffocating. Roots then struggle, not just to grow, but to breathe. They burn massive amounts of energy just trying to push through hard soil, instead of developing strong, vibrant plants above ground. And here's the mistake most people make. They try to fix it with more water or more fertilizer. But the real solution is not force, it's biology. Deep-rooted cover plants like radish and clover slowly break compacted layers apart from the inside out. Their roots create natural tunnels that restore airflow and water movement, without destroying the fragile soil structure. Nature repairs itself when given the right tools. Now let's look at the exact opposite problem. You water your garden, and within hours the soil is bone dry again. Your plants still wilt, even though you are watering them regularly. The issue here is not a lack of water. It is a lack of organic matter. In a healthy ecosystem, decaying leaves, roots, and compost form a natural sponge that holds moisture. Without this layer, water drains too quickly or evaporates completely before the plants can ever use it. So instead of watering more often, you need to rebuild the surface system. A layer of compost, leaves, or straw acts like a protective blanket. It reduces evaporation, protects soil life, and slowly rebuilds moisture retention over time. This is how forests naturally stay hydrated, without a single drop of artificial irrigation. Sometimes the garden looks fine on the surface, but nothing grows properly. Plants stay small for weeks. Leaves don't develop. Growth just completely freezes. This is often misunderstood as poor soil or missing nutrients, so people pour on more fertilizer. But nothing changes. Why? Because nutrients alone are not enough. Plants don't absorb minerals directly in their raw form. They depend entirely on billions of microorganisms in the soil to break nutrients down and deliver them in usable, bioavailable forms. When this underground system is damaged, the delivery process completely stops. The solution is not more chemicals. It is rebuilding life in the soil. Adding compost or worm castings reintroduces that microbial activity and helps restart the natural nutrient cycle. There are times when plants clearly look hungry. Leaves turn yellow and growth slows to a crawl. So you fertilize, but absolutely nothing improves. This is often caused by a chemical imbalance in the soil, especially pH problems or severe salt buildup. In these conditions, nutrients become locked in place. They are actively present in the soil, but the plants physically cannot access them. It is like standing outside a locked store full of food, but having no key. Adding more fertilizer only makes the situation worse and tightens the lock. The real solution is restoring balance. Beneficial fungi, especially mycorrhizal fungi, help unlock those trapped nutrients and connect directly with plant roots. They act like a living delivery network, moving nutrients exactly where plants actually need them. If this is changing how you look at your soil, hit subscribe. We explore how soil, plants, and natural ecosystems truly work every week, so you can grow with nature instead of fighting it. Now ask yourself something simple. When you dig into your soil, do you see actual life? Earthworms, insects, movement? Or is everything dry, silent, and empty? Healthy soil is alive. Earthworms are not random visitors, they are master engineers. They create tunnels that allow air and water to move freely, and they produce nutrient-rich castings that improve soil fertility naturally. When they disappear, it means the ecosystem is in deep trouble, usually from chemical use, heavy disturbance, or a lack of organic food. To bring them back, you don't chase them down. You feed the system. No-dig gardening and consistent mulch slowly rebuild their habitat, and they will return on their own. Weeds are almost always treated as enemies. But many of them are actually vital signals. For example, aggressive dandelion growth often appears specifically in heavily compacted soil. Their deep taproots are nature's way of breaking hard ground apart. In low-oxygen, overly wet areas, you may see entirely different invasive plants taking over. Instead of fighting the weeds directly, ask a better question. Why is this specific plant growing here? Weeds are not the problem. They are indicators of the problem. Fix the soil condition and they naturally disappear. When pests suddenly take over a garden, it is easy to blame the insects. Aphids, mites, and fungi seem like the enemy. But pests arrive because plants are already weakened. In healthy soil, plants receive balanced nutrients that help them build strong tissues and natural chemical defenses. But when the soil is damaged, plants become stressed. And stressed plants release chemical signals that actively attract pests. Spraying heavy chemicals may reduce insects temporarily, but it also destroys beneficial organisms and weakens the entire system further. The real solution is below the surface. Restore soil life, and plant health returns naturally. At the deepest level, gardening is not about controlling plants. It is about rebuilding a living ecosystem. Beneath every healthy garden exists an invisible world of roots, fungi, earthworms, bacteria, insects, and countless other organisms working together every second of every day. They build soil structure. They recycle nutrients. They store water. They protect roots. And they quietly create the conditions that allow life above ground to flourish. When that hidden world thrives, the plants above it thrive too. The most successful gardeners are not the ones who constantly fight nature. They are the ones who learn how to work with it. So before you blame your plants, look beneath them. Because the real garden is not what you see. It is what you cannot see. Now take a moment and think about your own garden or growing space. Which of these signs have you noticed in your soil? And what will you change first? Share your thoughts in the comments. We learn more when we compare experiences. And if someone you know is struggling with their garden, send this to them. It might completely change how they understand soil forever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.